America recently did a cover story about the real estate industry and real estate commissions, how some sellers are saying that paying for their representation along with buyers' representation is collusion, that it artificially keeps commissions high. While Good Morning America was covering this story and talking about what's going on in the industry, also talked about buyers agents steering buyers because of commission. So while you should be talking to your agent about compensation and them educating you on that, it's very different than listing your home for sale by owner or using a flat fee MLS company. Two last options suggest that you as a seller go without representation. So some of us in our office got together and discussed this because we had a lot to say about it.
They stated in order to have your home listed on the MLS, you had to offer buyer compensation. And I think that they are confusing two separate issues here, because you have clear cooperation, which is defined by Bright MLS as the sharing of information. So that's just simply that piece. And then separate and apart from that is commission. Commissions, they make it sound like that's something new that's negotiable. Commissions with sellers and with buyers have always been negotiable, always will be negotiable. There is more value to us as realtors. And keep in mind, there's a difference between a realtor and a real estate agent. And that biggest difference is that realtors subscribe to a code of ethics, and we are all realtors here.
The assumption was made that we are going to be able to go into the system and just pull properties that pay us a higher compensation. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I certainly do. That is unethical. If you're working with an ethical agent, that should never happen. That doesn't mean that it can't happen.
Right.
There are always bad apples that are going to find ways to work around the systems that are put in place to protect the consumers. And in order to protect the consumer, here in Maryland, buyer agency was put into place, where buyers actually sign an agreement with a buyer's agent to represent them. And that should be someone that you trust and is ethical. And if you're working with someone that you trust and is ethical, that agent is never going to look and say, this commission doesn't pay enough, we're going to move to a different house. That's just
a lot of the buzz that I've heard has been turning more towards the value that the agent brings. It's not so much that people have an issue paying the commission that the agent has earned, but rather whether the agent has in fact earned it. And I think that's where it's more comes into play who you're working with. If you don't think that they're doing any more for you than finding you a house and opening a door, then they haven't earned that. And that's rightful to be upset by it. But there are a lot of agents out there that are held to a higher standard that do wonderful work and that earn that commission tenfold by everything that they do throughout the process from the very beginning to the end.
Obviously, an agent that knows what they're doing, that is experienced, brings strategies to the table. If a seller thinks, or these people that are assuming that we don't bring value to the table for our compensation, I can assure you that the strategies and the experience that a listing agent uses, that a buyer's agent uses, is something that has created the increase in sales prices, has created the options that a buyer now has. I mean, it's very competitive out there. And if you're using an agent that's wise, that knows these strategies, that knows their business, that stays within the law, those buyers are getting houses. Those sellers are getting more for their houses. So a seller and a buyer would not know how to navigate this process without those strategies and that experience and expertise.
It was implied. Do you actually need a realtor? And the answer is there are many reasons that you need a realtor. We live in a litigious society, and selling a home is one of the largest investments that you're ever going to sell. And there is a specific reason that certain fields have to be licensed, have to have continuing education. And if you look at that historically, it's litigious situations. There are forms. There are things that you have to do. There's a lot of information out there that you're going to get from a realtor.
I wouldn't even cut my own hair. So there's that.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, make sure your agents are educating you on why it's important that the listing agent and the buyer agent's getting paid, or why they get paid, or how they get paid, instead of asking those questions and the agents educating their clients, it was like, just do away with all of it. And that should not be the takeaway from this. Is people's money, of course. If someone has a question about compensation, how you get paid, why you get paid, when you get paid, how much you get paid, all of that shouldn't be, okay, well, to save money, if you want to tell sellers and buyers, do away with a realtor so you can save money. Ooh,
Good luck.
Good luck. Because do you know how to market? Do you have connections in the community? Are you going to hire a photographer? Are you going to hire a stager? Are you going to know how to negotiate? Are you going to know?
Just be available every day to open your house for showings. Like something as simple as that, knowing that there is a secure way for people to come in with a licensed individual that is not just anyone off the street coming into your home, your personal property. Like
DIY.
And rather than alluding to educating the consumers more, they alluded to, let's take, I think the number was $30 billion out of the real estate industry. And actually what they were addressing was who pays it, not take it away. It's just how that's being dispersed. So it's very easy to watch a 60-second sound bite
And get all riled up.
But
we have.
But it's not the reality.
Yeah.